Hey guys, welcome back to OverTakes. This is Misfit.
And I'm Kel.
And we are going to be talking about the Overwatch League 2020 season, our preview of the Pacific Division West. But first, there's some stuff that's happened in the last... Once again, some stuff has gone down since we last talked to you guys. And literally an hour before we recorded this, we're recording it on Wednesday night. A counter to what's been going on has been dropped. And then we have some talent news, of course, because why not? But thank you guys for joining us on YouTube and all the podcatchers. Thank you very much. Please hit a like and hit a subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. It helps us out, helps us get up in the rankings, and get the conversation rolling a little bit more. Let's talk about the elephant in the room that just got fucking shot by Jeff.
Jeff just came in with the 50 cal and was like, nah, I need some ivory.
Yeah. Here's your joy.
So, yeah, until this point, basically in the past week, to anybody that doesn't know, just a quick summary.
You were sleeping.
If you've been, whatever rock you've been sleeping under, basically, what was it? I think it was like Friday or so.
It started to get it rolling about Friday.
It was one of the streams that, where it really started getting steam, is one of Emong's streams, where he started hinting that something big was coming within the next 2 weeks.
He didn't say what. He winked at the camera a couple times. And
he basically implied that it's going to be something that's going to impact the game, almost to the level that 222 impacted the game.
Yeah, and he kind of said, I'm paraphrasing here, he said, they're going to do something really big, and it's going to, kind of show that they're moving in a direction where we're all going to kind of like where it's going, and it's kind of, what we've been asking for and stuff like that.
Where they're actually listening to us, and it's going to make a lot of people happy.
And within 30 seconds,
that turned into hero bans.
Yeah,
that's what it's going to be. Then that just took off on a wild roller coaster of all kinds of different things.
Yeah, and we had some good conversations about it, for sure.
Absolutely, and we had a lot planned for tonight.
Yeah, we did.
And so, because it also got confirmed by Metro, who was the guy that leaked Overwatch 2.
He might have leaked Baptiste. He leaked a couple things.
Yeah, he's been a pretty reliable source for a lot of these things. So that kind of gave it even more validity. So then it really started amping up, and there was a lot of speculation that it was going to start with the league, then come later, all kinds of different things, until today, when just an hour ago, Jeff posted another long post on the forums, which once again, read it. It's a really fascinating insight into why basically hero bans are not coming to the game, at least at this point.
Yeah, at least in his opinion, and from where the devs are. I was on the fence about this. You kind of pulled me to the hero bans wouldn't be a bad idea kind of thing. I think for me, pro, GM, and up, it would have been fantastic.
It makes sense. I definitely think it makes sense for pros and upper tier, but it's when you get into the fan base or the player base at large is where you kind of start to see the holes in it. And Jeff was basically pointed to that, and even to the upper tier people, it's different, and it's that it's not just a simple thing. And he also made the point of it's the same thing that happens in MOBA games. There's always somebody who's a must ban.
Yeah,
and so then you just end up having the same. You just have one less character you can play, and you have a meta. And you're just basically changing the meta to whatever that is, and you're not getting the proper balances that you're wanting out of it. You're just creating another meta and basically just perpetuating the same problem. It's a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Especially for this game. And I kind of get where he's coming from in this.
Yeah, and it made a lot of sense. Check it out. I'll have the link down in the description to the forum post. It's really good. And, it's great to see them. I keep saying this. It's great to see them responding to stuff and talking about the game and talking about where it's going to go. I mean, we all jumped to the conclusion that, well, it's going to be OWL hero bans. We still don't know what's going to happen because he's kind of like, just wait till next week.
Right.
It could be what we've been asking for, which is guilds.
Yeah.
Or whatever grouping system, which basically, I think is going to improve the game.
The only things that he has confirmed with it is that they're going to lay out what their plan is as far as updates, and he said that one of the major things that they're looking to do is increasing the pacing of matches themselves, which I'm all for, because it's like you get less angry when you are not investing all this time into one match and you lose, and like your losses feel less impactful.
You just move on to the next one.
You just move on, exactly. And so I'm thinking there's going to be something that's going to impact. There's definitely going to be something that impacts pacing of the game itself, and then on top of that, they're also going to be increasing the frequency of balances and balance patches and updates and things like that. Yeah. So that right there, I mean, that's something that people have really been clamoring for, and I think that's going to be huge. I think there's obviously there's going to be more to it than just that, but
right,
that's a fantastic start.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, there's only been a few instances where they've like reeled something back in,
right,
really fast. The Moira fade out of everything.
Yeah.
And I think if you guys remember in Overwatch League Season 1, we had that one patch where Sombra was like fucking stupid.
Oh yeah.
She could. It was like with the transponder and the timing, and like there was like no cooldowns and all or something they tried, and it just failed, and they pulled that back. But some of the other stuff, I think the thing that I like is they're listening somewhat to what people are saying. I was always on the fence about hero bans until we got enough heroes.
Yeah.
Meaning main tanks.
I still think we're still a little ways away from that. That might be something I could see them bringing in down the line, but I still think we're a little ways away. And by that I mean like even years. Well after Overwatch 2 comes out, and we have all of these new heroes that they're going to drop on us and everything that comes along with that. Yeah,
because there's not enough main tanks, and there's not enough supports to do that, to support that. Yeah, you can ban, like you could ban Widow and someone can play Hanzo.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's different, but you kind of get sort of what you're looking for, but you can't play Widow. I think one of the, I think it was, Blame the Controller, brought up a good point. Like certain things with hero bans, like on certain maps, you ban Mercy and you negate Pharah.
Yeah.
So that's two heroes that are banned, because in the pros and in the higher levels, they're not going to run Pharah without a Mercy.
Even in lower levels, running a Pharah without a Mercy is really hard.
Unless you're like in Silver and Bronze, when no one can hit a shot.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
But yeah, I am so interested to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, super intrigued. I'm very much looking forward to this new developer update. It should come within the next week. I'm sure after it drops, that's when we'll do our next episode.
Yeah, I would assume somewhere around Tuesday.
That would be my guess as well. Probably like Monday or Tuesday, maybe Monday, and then they would
put the
PTR up the next day, or they would
drop it Tuesday,
and then the hero or the PTR update goes out at the same time.
Which always sucks, because where I'm at in my regular life work, I always have to work Tuesday.
Yeah.
Because that's when I get my deliveries. So I'm always at work and I'm always like, what the fuck is going on?
I feel you.
Yeah.
Fortunately for me, I am actually off this coming Tuesday, so
good for you.
I'm very much looking forward to how this goes.
Time of year I could get the gaming flu.
Yeah, there you go.
Matter. Was that a mouse click I just heard in there? No. Yeah.
I hear you typing. Your keyboard's very loud.
I'm typing to my
I'm
doctor.
putting in my PTO hours.
Yeah.
Because I'm calling off right now. All right. So that's pretty much all we have on that. Otherwise, it's just going to turn into...
We were going to talk for a long time on that.
Yeah, we really could have spent a long time, but at the same, and we could really spend a lot more time speculating, but
yeah,
you guys don't really want to hear that because it's just going to be a bunch of random bullshit that probably won't happen anyway. So we're better off just kind of moving on.
I mean, the only thing we can do is, for me, I'll do it really quick. I'll reiterate what I've been saying is the guild system. It will up the play of the game, whether you're playing goats or you're playing this double barrier bullshit, and with a team ladder and all that kind of stuff. And it also feeds into, our normal conversation, which is Overwatch League. Some of these teams, guys that form teams, can form teams that can go in open division and then make their way up.
Yes, and it really makes that path to pro feel a little bit more viable.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated to see how it goes.
Yeah. So some of the other news that's happened, actually, we finally got some confirmation this morning from Zoe. She is going to be the desk host.
Yes.
For Watchpoint and, however, we still haven't gotten all of the stuff yet.
Right.
But I was glad to see that because I really like Zoe. I think she brings a lot of good energy to the show. I think she can analyze matches, but she can also run the desk.
And kind of just be that, kind of the host, basically, and just kind of go bring other people into the discussion, add her own thoughts. And I think her thoughts are, you will know that they're a little more genuine as well. So I'm super happy for Zoe, and I think it's a good move overall.
Yeah, and she plays the game. She likes the game, and she stayed. And they gave her the opportunity to host, the desk and all that stuff. And I think it's great. And the only other person we know that's on there is Custa. I mean, we could go in for 4 hours of speculation of who they're going to have on there, but there's other fish to fry.
There's definitely other things. I feel like we're probably still missing at least one more caster come in to work with Hex, unless they put Hex on the desk. At the same time, then you only have really 3 teams for your
you're going to want to
your casters.
4 to 8.
Yeah.
Well, you got Sideshow and Bren, ZP and Jake, Wolf and Achilleos, and
Uber and Mr.
As far as we know.
Uber and Mr. As far as we know. Yeah. Which Uber has not made any indication that he's
offer on
yet. But I would be shocked. I would be absolutely stunned if Uber is not returning.
And if you're listening, Uber, please, for the love of God, come the fuck back. And
also, hey, you want to come on the show sometime? It'd be dope.
Yeah. If you're listening, you're more than welcome. Anybody's welcome.
Open invitation to any and all people directly involved with the league.
We'll
should
talk.
Really go without saying.
Or if you're on another podcast, just DM us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come on.
We love having guests. It's always a really good time.
Yeah, we love talking.
The only other one as far as that goes is Puckett confirmed that he is actually not completely going away from Overwatch League. He is going to be the host for all of these stuff to do with NYXL.
Yeah, so their home games and whatnot. He's going to be their MC.
Yes.
Which is fantastic. I was hoping for Golden Boy for that, but maybe Philly.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody picks up Golden Boy for that.
Yeah, Philly.
He's kind of dropped some hints that he will be back in some capacity this season. So I'm interested to see which team coughed up the dough for Golden Boy. Watch it be the freaking Outlaws.
Ugh.
I'd be really happy if it was Washington, because then we'll get to see him 5 times.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. I like that. Go to Washington.
Right. Then you get the most opportunity.
Yeah. And then we get the most opportunity to watch your hype.
Exactly.
That's about it. I mean, there wasn't any news or anything like that. There wasn't any drama-ish stuff. And, honestly, moving forward, we're not going to talk about that. Those people can talk about what they want and, do what they got to do. You be you, and we'll be us. How about that?
Exactly.
So, shall we dive into the Western Division of the Western Pacific? Ugh, I'm terrible with this shit.
So, the West Division of the Pacific Conference. Let's dive into it. First team that we'll be talking about is the Dallas Fuel.
Oh, yeah, and we're going to start off with a team with a lot of questions. So, Dallas.
What else is new?
Yeah.
The only time anybody had any confidence in this team was before season 1 started.
And that was us.
And then that quickly faded away.
We were on that fucking
we weren't
train.
the only ones that were on that hype train.
Yeah.
There's a reason there's a hype train.
So, Dallas. Okay, we've got a changing of the guard, kind of, with Dallas.
Yeah.
This season, they let go of Oj and a couple other people. Not really. The Taimu actually is another one of the old guard that decided he wanted to just play and play consistently. He went back to Team Envy to play in Contenders, which is fantastic for him. I think that's a good move for him. He just wants to play.
Exactly. I can't blame him.
And probably, at some point, maybe try and get back in the league or, however that's going to work. But otherwise, what are we thinking with this team? Main tank has been lateral moved, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Gamzu and Oj are kind of, they're different play styles, but
I would put them at the same
level.
Like, very good tank players.
Yeah.
They are. I would not say that they are elite, but they are both very good.
The one thing that I think Gamsu
but I don't think either one is game changing.
No. The one thing I think Gamsu brings is, I think he's such a veteran and so good at, being level headed and that kind of stuff. He brings something this team hasn't had, and that's a non-volatile force on the team.
True. That is one thing that you can say about Oj.
Because he had his moments where he just had to go take a nap or whatever the hell he had to do. And I would be concerned if I was the Gladiators. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
With him. Not today. Well, yeah, later today.
Yeah. Actually, the next team we talk about. As far as Gamsu, so I think I don't hate the move of basically trading Gamsu or trading Oj for Gamsu. Honestly, where I really look at this team and go, okay, well, I don't know. So I think their tank line is going to be tricky simply because Gamsu's good and Note is good. But are they going to be able to play heroes that really play to their strengths?
Yeah, because is Note going to be able to be that Sigma player right now, as far as we know?
Right.
Because we're going on past records with Diva, them playing Dive and Gamsu's playing Winston and Note's, playing Diva. And just really eating backlines for lunch.
All we've ever seen from Note is Diva. So
at a decent level.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Note's he's been a top tier diva since the inception of the league.
But his other stuff is lackluster.
Exactly. His other stuff, I would say, is mediocre at best.
That's where the concerns come in.
Exactly. That may not matter depending on how these recent diva changes kind of factor in. But at the same time, from what I've been seeing and hearing, it's still going to be a lot of double shield.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot of Sigma Orisa. So is that going to work playstyle wise for these two guys? I think that's a concern.
I would have to agree. They have some synergy and they know how each other play. So I mean, you kind of got that going, tank line wise. But
that is definitely an advantage. You're basically getting that. If you're season 1 Boston tank line,
but you're mid-table on the heroes you have to play, so
right, is it going to be good enough?
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, are you going to be good enough? They're a great dive tank duo, but when you get into other stuff, how are they?
Right, and, exactly.
You know, Gamsu's other stuff, he's good. I think he's better at ball than he is at Orisa. Personally, yeah. He's kind of that game manager quarterback. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He's not going to wow you, but he's not going to
kill you. Yeah.
He's not going to hurt you either.
And I kind of see Note as that a very similar type of player. Like, he was never a flashy diva, but he was always very technically sound, and just he made the right plays, but they were very rarely the winning plays. It was just, or the dominant plays. It was like he would make winning plays. Don't get me wrong, but it was like very calculated, technical stuff that like it wasn't flashy or like big splashy moves.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in the back line with Diva. I'm gonna take out Zen or the other support. Maybe do a little blocking, kind of peeling for my supports. There wasn't anything kind of where he just said, "Fuck this, I'm taking over."
Exactly.
Okay, so let's move on.
Yeah, that's where we're at on their tanks. Let's move on to the supports, which I think they're overall a little bit stronger on, simply because of the pickup of Closer.
Yeah. He made a difference last year. I think I feel like I kind of feel like it's the same. They're not going to hurt you.
Yeah,
they're not going to hurt you. They're not going to do anything out of the ordinary.
Right. They're not going to give you like Unko has his moments at times where but it's usually because somebody else opens something up. So I think what the real thing that we're getting from this team is that if they are perfectly in sync and everyone is doing their job, they can really be good, or they could actually be great, because they have guys that are good enough to make the plays. It's just they need to have that synergy and that cohesion that I think that's been really lacking pretty much since their inception, since they were Team Envy. Before the league even started, they haven't had that
And I think as we further this conversation on about them, Doha and Decay could bring them back to that. It's just sometimes with this roster, there's so many spots that are taken up by guys with contracts that you're like, why?
Right.
You're still there.
Yeah.
You're just sitting on the bench. You know what I mean? Some of them are probably coaching and that kind of thing, or you know what I mean. But it's like you could have done so much more, but you're tied down with like Mickey and Harry Hook and some of these other guys that just don't do anything.
Mm-hmm. They don't get playing time, and nothing against them as players, but at the same time, if you're not seeing the stage, how much are you fully contributing to the team?
Yeah. And I think this is for them, for this whole organization and the team, and especially Arrow, this is a must-win season.
Yes.
The thing that they have in their advantage is they have 5 homestands.
They do.
Which is going to, because if they're anything like that last year, they're
going to be nuts, and this team is going to thrive in that environment.
That's only 10 wins, though.
Right.
If you sweep. So, yeah.
But
there's a lot of questions I have.
That's about a third of your schedule, and if you can get almost all of those as wins, that's a good start.
Yeah. I mean,
because you can go 500 the rest of the time and be in a really good spot.
Yeah, if it's last year's any indication, I mean, we had teams that were 13 and 15 that were in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Which I hope, that kind of bugs me.
Yeah.
A little bit. I want teams that are at least 500 in the chase to win the championship.
That is the one of the things you have to think about or worry about when you have that type of play-in tournament. But at the same time, think about season 1. I really think this team could have gone pretty far in that playoff if they were able to be, if they had the opportunity to be in a play-in tournament.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's definitely something to consider when you think about that type of thing. Because anything can change when the meta is changing, especially if it's going to be changing frequently.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely something to think about. But I think really what it's going to come down to is you're going to get some opportunities from your tank line and your supports. They're going to be small windows, but you're going to have windows where they're going to open up something where the DPS can do some craziness.
Yeah.
And that's really what it's going to come down to for this team is you're going to get solid play out of your tank and your healers. But as DPS, are they going to step up enough to really push this team forward?
Yeah.
And I think that's where it all kind of lies, is what Decay and Doha do, as well as AKM and Zachary when they get to play as well.
Yeah. I mean, AKM could see a lot less time. I mean, you're not going to see him all the time. You're going to see him infrequently.
Yeah, when you got a guy like Decay, AKM is really going to kind of be taking the backseat. And
this is a big year for Decay, too, because he was kind of okay last year. After all the fanfare, when the Gladiators signed him,
mm-hmm.
and I don't think he lived up to the expectations that people had on him last year.
He did not. He was, not to say he was bad, but he did not meet he did not come close to the expectations, and that kind of led to it being like,
yeah, but
okay.
But you also got to throw the caveat in. Last year, he was playing not his normal heroes or like any kind of DPS. Really, he was playing either Brig or Zarya. I forgot what he did for them even.
He did Zarya.
Okay. So,
but he was a good Zarya for sure. But yeah, it really didn't get to give him the chance to showcase his skills.
Yeah. So where do you see him?
So I'm thinking, I still see this team dead center, middle of the pack.
Yeah.
I see this as a 500 team.
I'm gonna go sub 500 with them. I'm going to go, they can win at home, but on the road, can they do, without the crowd there and that kind of thing?
Right.
Are they going to be able to be, and they're in a really tough division. I mean, you got San Francisco, the Gladiators, Vancouver. Are you going to be able to beat these teams?
Right. They have probably one of the more brutal schedules that anybody has in the entire league.
Outside of Dallas, what are you going to do?
Right. I mean, when two of the top 2 teams are in your division, that's rough.
Yeah, pretty rough. I see them somewhere in the close to 500, but not really. In that 13 and 15, 12 and 16 kind of range.
Right now, they're the Rays.
Yeah.
In your division.
Well, the American League doesn't count because everyone's got to play the cheating Astros, so...
Right. But, I mean, just looking at the AL East, that type of thing, you have Boston and New York, who would be San Francisco and Vancouver, and then you have the other three.
Yeah, and if they were in your division, say, they would probably win it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, so, okay. I think that's all.
But honestly, I don't know. Would they be even like a middle team? Or like, would they be a team that would be that? They might not even be the Rays. They might be more the Blue Jays, where you're like, okay, they've got some young talent and
they have
potential.
guys on the roster and they just never do what they're supposed to.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so
whereas
the Blue Jays.
The Rays are more kind of taking very little and turning it into something.
Yeah, Boston in season 1.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm seeing Dallas as about a 500 team.
Yeah,
I think the homestands are going to give them a push towards that, and that's what's really going to push them over that. But if they didn't have as many homestands as they do, they would probably be a sub 500 team, probably on the outside looking in of the play-in tournament,
or even down with the Valiant and those teams like that.
Right.
I think that's a big advantage that they have, and there's nothing wrong with that. You take wins where you can get them, and you're playing at home, and it's so far it's been the best, in my opinion. That was the best venue that they had.
Oh, hands down. Atlanta was pretty awesome, but Dallas was another level.
And I think they're playing in the same place too. I
believe so. At least for a couple of them. They might switch it up for one or two of them, but I know for sure they're going back to that venue for at least a few.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's where we're at on Dallas. Let's move on to the LA Gladiators.
Let's talk about the Gladiators. Okay. This team, a lot of people have them rated really high. I don't know what to think of them yet.
I mean, just by default,
their tank line's insanely good, and their support line.
So just by default, I put this team definitely top 10.
Yeah.
Just because of their past track record of playing very well in the regular season and getting the wins that they need to in the regular season, or getting solid wins in the regular season, but never really being able to get over the hump. But by doing that, they're putting themselves in that top 5 record-wise because they're beating all the teams that are worse than them.
Yeah, they're doing what they're supposed to do. At least
exactly.
They did. You beat the teams that are worse than you, and you hope for kind of a split with the teams that are better than you. Mm-hmm. Like if you're going normal sports-wise, you will always want to come out on top, but you beat who you're supposed to beat.
Exactly. And that's kind of what this team does. I think the biggest key for them is going to be getting over that hump and being able to really show that they are capable of winning big games against teams that are better than them or as good as them.
Yeah, and that's going to come down to the DPS.
Yes. Because
Space and Oj is going to be really good.
Yep.
We know how good Big Goose and Chaz always are.
Mm-hmm.
But can Birdring, Mirror, and Jaru do the job?
Right.
Birdring's the question mark.
He's kind of the question mark / X factor. Like he's all of it. Like if you can get the best out of Birdring, you are in a very good space. Yeah. But if you don't, then it's looking a little iffy because I just don't know how much you're going to be able to get out of Mirror and Jaru. It's a really strangely constructed DPS lineup that they have because none of them have ever played with each other before. You got 3 different languages being spoken by these guys. It's kind of all over the place with this roster.
Yeah, it kind of almost like the tables have turned. I was going to say it mirrors, but the tables have turned a little bit where the tank line was always the question.
Mm-hmm.
And now with Space, you don't have anything to worry about there. Oj Maybe.
There's slight concerns with Oj, but at the same time, I think pairing him with a guy like Space is the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
And I think these guys will struggle early. I think the first couple of games, you're definitely going to see some mistakes that are going to happen as they try to figure out how each other plays. But I do think that they're going to build some synergy, and when they do, they're going to be very good.
Yeah, and if Birdring can keep his head together, unlike he did the last couple of years, or the last, bit in London, if he can keep his stuff together, he is phenomenal, and you have nothing to worry about. If he's doing what he does at a high level, where he's getting to play some of the heroes that he's really good at, you're getting him in on Widow and some hit scan stuff that he can do some serious damage with, because there's going to be space.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those tanks
are they're going to make space.
Yeah. They're going to create opportunities for their DPS to go off.
Exactly.
And the question is can they?
Right. It really is what it comes down to with this team is like, can the DPS step up to where they need to be and make those big impact plays?
Yeah.
And be the carries that they need them to be, because that's what this team so desperately has needed, is they've just never had that guy that can just like basically single-handedly win them a team fight.
Yeah. I mean, you've had the coaches win them team fights, and maps and matches and stuff like that. And there was occasions when they had Fissure where,
yes,
in season 1 where they absolutely just wrecked. He brought up Surefour. He kind of challenged Surefour to be the guy that he became later on in the season, where he would carry.
Right. Exactly. And which of these guys is going to be the one that does that? Because that's really what it's going to come down to. You're going to get exceptional play out of your tanks and your healers, and it's just going to come down to the DPS and how big they could step up.
Yeah.
And I think, because if you look at any of the teams that have had big runs that have been continually successful, is they have really good tanks and really good healers, but they have that one guy as a DPS that can just take over a game.
Yeah.
You look at San Francisco, you got Sinatra. You look at Vancouver, they have Haxel. You look at New York, they had SBB for a while. New York or London, when they won, they had Prophet.
Yeah.
You have these guys that can just, this is my game. I'm not losing this game.
Yeah, they turn the match on a dime.
Exactly.
And the guy that actually could do that is Birdring if he's together. I hope he does get it together. I'm thinking this team, though, on the whole, with just the tank line and the supports, they should be in the playoffs. First half.
Oh, definitely.
We've been talking first half records. I definitely see it in the positive somewhere. At least 10 wins, 4 losses.
I'm thinking probably
9,
9-10 wins.
Yeah,
so just right in where they're going to be. They'll probably have a few losses early, and people are going to be like, "Oh, Gladiators not as good as everybody thought." But it's just like you just changed a fundamental aspect of your entire team. It's going to take some time, but there's going to be a moment where they're going to win a game, and people are going to be like, "Oh shit, they might be legit," and that's going to be it.
Yeah, because you have 3 guys that are top 5 in the league at least, and Big Goose, Shaz, and Space.
Exactly.
There's no way this team should finish. If they have to go in the play-in, that's rough.
Yeah. I don't see them. I don't see them in the play-in. I see them as a top 5 finish for the season again.
At least top 6.
Yes. I think one underrated move that we haven't really discussed too much for this team is adding Curry Shot.
Yeah.
I think
Shot does magic.
He could be a really huge addition to this team because you're going to get from Decay.
Yeah.
He's a very good coach. He just hasn't been able to get these guys over the hump, and I think Curry Shot could be the guy that kind of pushes them over that.
Yeah, because he did wonders with the charge. I wish the damn Mayhem kept him in the fold there. But yeah, he's a guy that can, because he has such a mind for like the strategy and stuff like that. You can tell and it's the working with what you got.
Exactly.
Kind of strategies, which is what a lot of teams weren't doing. Like with Guangzhou, he was like, once he came in, you saw a lot more in Nero and some of that stuff. He just kind of worked some magic with the team. Yeah. And I think that's underrated. I think he'll be a head coach more sooner than later.
Same.
Down the line, we're going to see him taking somebody over. I mean, who knows? It could be the Gladiators.
Yeah.
Because
I would not be surprised.
Because they did get rid of, Decay left and they brought him back.
Right.
So, I don't know if it was like, a situation where he didn't want to be there, but he's like, all right, I'll come back for one more year.
I think it was, I'm guessing it was just a contract situation more than anything.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. Like, well, if you don't want to pay me this, then I'll just walk. And they were like, okay, no.
Yeah. Don't worry. Let us sure this up, and then we'll revisit.
Exactly. that type of situation for sure. All right.
He wasn't Gucci.
Right. That's where we see the Gladiators.
Okay, guys, that is going to do it for this part of our discussion about the Pacific Conference West. We wanted to talk about some other stuff that was going on in the game. We thought we were going to have a lot more juice with all the talk with hero bands. And we got, we went a little over. So this is going to be part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 either later tonight or tomorrow morning. That would be either Thursday night or Friday morning. And all of you guys out there in YouTube land, thank you very much for all of your support that you've been giving us over the last couple of years doing this. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you could hit a subscribe and hit the like button on the videos and the alert bell, that would be greatly appreciated. It helps us out with the algorithms that YouTube is using right now. Helps us get up in the rankings of the videos and stuff like that. And, brings some other people into the fold that we can talk with, which is what we're all about. We will see you guys later on tonight or tomorrow with part 2 of the Western Division, where we go from the Valiant all the way to the Vancouver Titans, and then we will be back at you when we get some updates and stuff like that. And also with our final preview, the Pacific Conference East. So stay tuned for that, and we will talk to you later. Have a good one.